Okay, I'd like to do some more with Kung Fu Panda. We've already done this search and optimized this Kung Fu Panda character search with functions. We've also done a image gallery with just the image. But I'd like to kind of put the image gallery and the search all together, where we have a data structure that's going to store not just the image, but also the name and the quote and the link and all that stuff. So basically, we're going to store more information, so we need a more complex data structure. So in order to do a more complex data structure, we could do things like parallel arrays or two-dimensional arrays or arrays of objects. And I think I want to do arrays of objects. Right, so we're going to take a look here. And right now I just have this this if statement, right? When we click the search button, we'll do the search part first. We'll do the slideshow with the previous and next buttons later. But when we click, we do this character search, and this if name equals this, else if name equals this, else if name equals this. If I have lots of characters, and I've added a bunch more characters, I have this character data.txt as well that has 10 characters here. It becomes a larger if statement, and I think we can do a better job. Plus, we can't just pass in the name and the quote anymore because we've got different information. Well, actually, in here we've got the name, the quote, the image file, and then the oh, this is the wiki link. And the reason we need more information is because some of them, like Mr. Ping, had this underscore. We couldn't just use the name because it has that missing underscore. Same with Tai Lung. We could have maybe done some string manipulation. I think there's a function actually we can replace characters with something else. So we could have played around with that, but I think this will be easier. So let's just assume we've got this data, right? The name, the quote, the image file, and then the wiki link. And we have that for all of these different characters. And of course, we could add more to this. I want to store that information somewhere. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to, very beginning, let's do, I'm going to have a global variable. I'm going to have a character array is assigned. And actually, let's use a function, create character array. Okay, and I'm just going to have that down here. Function create character array, just to keep the code organized, right? So it's just nice and clean here. In this, basically, I'm going to is assigned. So I want this to return. So I'm going to return a data structure. And what data structure do I want? I want an array of objects. Okay, I definitely want an array because if I'm going to do a slideshow, I want it to be ordered. Right, an array is an ordered collection. And I like the idea of an object because each character I can think of as an object. Right, that has a name, a quote, image file, and a wiki name that I can store in that object. So I can just do this. I can create an array. And inside of this array, my first thing will be an object, name, po, quote. Maybe I should copy and paste here. Let's do split screen for a second. Buddy, I am the Dragon Warrior. Right, that'll be the quote. I'm going to hit Shift-Alt-F because it's going to want us to do that. There we go. Comma. After that, we'll do the image file. And that's going to be po.png, and we'll do the wiki name, which is also just po. Okay, so that's one object, and then I can go comma and make another object. Name is assigned Tigress, quote, that was pretty hardcore. And then image file, tigress.png, there we go, and then wiki name, tigress. Okay, anyway, I can just continue doing this, and I will have an array, right? This array here is the first element of the array, which is an object, comma, and then another object, comma. I'd like to do this example this way first. I'm going to pause this video and just finish the rest. Later on, I think a way better way would be to load this data file. Right? We learned how to load from files. I'll show you that later, but I want to do it with this first, just to make sure we're good. Maybe we won't do all of them, but we'll do a couple more. But I'm just going to pause and then come back. Okay, so I did a bunch of typing and I've now got this wonderful array with all of these objects, name, quote, image file, wiki name, which relates to this data file. Okay, let's shut that down, go back to here. So create character array, beautiful. Well, actually pretty big and ugly, we'll fix that later. Okay, so character array, and I should have gone let, wonderful, be that. Now, the beautiful thing here, what is the beautiful thing here? What we can do now is if name equals po, well, actually what we need to do now is we need to do a search, right? Instead of this if statement, I want to do a search for by name, right? Search for character by name, because that's the name I have here. And I did name.toLowercase. Is that going to be an issue? Yes, because in here they're not lowercase. Well, I could just convert these to lowercase too. Okay. But I think we want to keep the name to lowercase so that the user input can be case insensitive. All right, so let's have a function called, let's do this. Let character be assigned search or find character by name. Now let's say get character by name, and we'll pass in name. Okay, so I want to define a function that will take in the name of the character. It'll search the character array to see if that character's in there, and then it'll return that object, right? I want to return the entire object. So maybe we should call this character object. All right, so let's do this function. Function get character by name, which will take in a name. That will be my parameter. That'll store the name in. And then to search the array, I'm just going to loop through it. So for let I be 0, I is less than character array dot length I plus plus. I can simply go if character array at position I. So I'm looking inside of my array. This should now be an object. I want to look at its .name property. And I'm going to tag on a .toLowercase because I want to convert that to a lowercase. So all of these. Is that equal to name? And if it is equal, I'm going to return character array at position I. Right? We'll say, hey, I found it. I'll return. That'll stop the loop. It'll return from the function and say, hey, I found the character you're looking for, and I return it, and it'll get stored inside of this character object. Okay. Now, if I didn't find it, we should have some comments here, right? Loop through character array, looking for a name. Didn't find a name, so return. I don't know. We could return whatever we want. We want to basically, what do we want to return? Maybe -1. Return -1 to indicate not found. Okay. And actually, you know what? Let's do this because let's just return I. Let's return the position where we found it. Okay, and we'll see how that goes. And then -1 is we didn't find it because positions go 0 up to something. -1 didn't find it. That's just a common, for search algorithms, that's a common technique that's done. Okay, so back here, this is not character object anymore. This will be character, let's just call it index. Character index, like that. And then I can do a, hey, if character index is equal to -1, that means I didn't find it. And then I'm going to call this display question mark function. Display question mark. Else I found it, and then I'll call the display character function. But we're going to need to change this function. Because now that I just have the position, I can go character array at position I. And now this will take in a character object. Right? Instead of having to pass in the name and the quote and the image file and everything, we can just pass in the object which stores all of that information. So now I can get rid of this and just go character object dot image file. Right, images slash, and then the image file, which would be that .png. For here, name, I'm just going to go character object dot name. Quote, same thing, character object dot quote. For the wiki, yeah, we just want the name here. Character object dot name again. But here we want the wiki name, right? Whatever finishes that link. Character object dot wiki name. Okay, so display character, I pass in the object, right? I made a mistake here. There is no I. I is a local variable in this search function here. I return that and store it in character index. Character index. Right, so if character index is -1, I didn't find it, so I display the question mark. Else, I will display a character, and I'll pass in the character stored at that index. Cool, right? The character stored at position 0, 1, 2, wherever I found it. Okay, that was a lot of code. Let's see if it actually works. Our use of functions to keep things organized, create character array. Yeah, let's see if this works. Okay, got my console open. Let's try looking for Mantis. Hit search, and awesome! Oh, I just spelled something wrong. Main.js line 21, character array. Okay, let's try that again. Mantis search. Hey! Okay, Mantis, fear the bug, Mantis wiki. It looks like, yeah, the link is correct down there. Cool. Shifu. We've got Master Shifu. There is now a level 0. Awesome. How about Tai Lung? Let's do that case and sensitive stuff. There's Tai Lung. Tai Lung wiki. Awesome. Yep, that works. Okay. Alright, so the cool thing here, right, is just this idea of the array of characters. It really simplified calling this display character function with that object. Right, we just have the one parameter. This was a little ugly, but we can fix that by loading, creating this array from the file, which we'll do in a future video. Another thing we could add to this as well is the slideshow, right, with the next and previous. I think I'll do that in another video as well. Okay, so that's it for now. Like I said, just more complex data structures, an array of objects, so we can store all this data and work with it, right, throughout our program to access it. Okay, hope that made sense. Take care and see you in the next video.